beware of the European hobosexual man, because they are everywhere. Now, I know we talk about passport bros and hobosexuals, but I don't think that women from like the US or, I don't know, maybe Canada or anywhere where like the salaries might be higher, understand the menace of the European hobosexual man. Now, the person who really helped me understand this was G, one of my mutuals. I had her on a live. Go check out, it's on my Patreon, and we had the best conversation. Hey, go follow her if you're not already. She was the first person that really turned me on to this awareness of these like romantic, like loving French, Italian, maybe Spanish, you know, but especially the countries where the salaries are not that high. You better watch out if you're an American woman with a big old salary and you come over here, because they are a hobosexual, and if you have babies with them, you're never getting rid of them. So here's the thing, and I know women who have fallen into this trap. One of my friends here ended up with the thing is that they could actually come from money and be big old hobosexuals. I have a friend who got screwed by a hobosexual, and he grew up in a castle. I'm not exaggerating. And yet, you know, it's on chômage, which is unemployment, for a ridiculous amount of time. Totally fine, moving in with her, not working at all. Like, in his 40s. You will meet men here in their 30s and 40s who are just on chômage, hanging out, right? So those of you who don't know how that works here, in the US, it's different by state, but you can get unemployment benefits for like 26 weeks or whatever. Over here, they can get them for like 2 years. That man could be unemployed for 2 years on your couch, and they don't have to work that long to qualify for unemployment. In fact, I've met a lot of men here, and I feel like women should like have easier access to unemployment benefits than men, because even when women are unemployed, I don't know any woman that's not also doing work, right? Whether it's emotional labor or like social labor, cognitive labor, or caretaking somebody. I'm not saying that it never happens, but when men are unemployed, oh my God, you've got a menace. And they're totally fine doing nothing at all other than just like escapism for that entire time. But let me talk about salaries, okay? So the average salary in the US, now this is obviously you're giving states, you know, New York and like Mississippi, the salaries are gonna be different, like city versus rural, whatever. But according to the internet, the average salary in the US, $66,622. Now, the thing is in the US, the salaries are like 2, 3 or more times than salaries here. But here, things are included, right? In the US, you're spending like more money on health insurance than even rent. If you have children, you got childcare. So like it makes sense that the salaries are higher there. But I didn't realize until G made me like really open my eyes that a lot of them, like European men, see women from the United States, for instance, as just super rich because of the salaries. So a lot of men love hooking up with these American women with their big old salary, but live here in France or in Italy or in Spain or wherever, where you have like, you know, universal health care and then, you know, subsidized childcare and subsidized so many. I mean, they even subsidize vacation for single moms. I don't know what the rules of it. One of my single mom friends literally got to go on a vacation for a week with her kids because it's the right to vacation. Okay, so many things you get here that we would never give anybody in the US because we don't do that. You're on your own. You can't eat, just die, I guess. Need some, you know, medication for diabetes, die, or get a GoFundMe. So I hate the way the US is set up, right? But what I'm saying is that if you come over here, especially now if you're like, I don't want to be in the US, I want to go to Europe and meet a man, you will never leave. But not in a good way. Even if you want to leave, if you have a baby with that man, you're stuck forever. It's called the Hague Convention. Look it up, okay? Look it up. So many women do you have any idea, every day on these Facebook groups for, you know, married to a French man, or any of the like the women's groups, and or even the legal, you know, like the the groups dedicated to like your legal right, every day is another hobosexual situation where a woman is like, I hate my in-laws. I hate my life here. How do I get, everyone's like, you can't. Not only can you not move home with your children, you may not even be able to get on that plane and visit home without his permission. And if he's a hobosexual, and financial abuse is in that equation, which it almost always is, because they gotta have that power, baby. So they're gonna control you in one way or another. You're never getting on a plane, not with the kids. So you're stuck here at least 18 years. That man will never make as much money as you do. Even if he has the best job ever, he will never make as much money as you do, probably. If you have a big salary from the US, he will not come anywhere near your salary. They think you're rich. And as G has pointed out in her videos, a lot of women, because the culture's so different, a lot of women in the US, we are used to men who are like these extremes. You're either Madonna or a whore, right? And if you hook up with a man and he doesn't want to like date you or marry you, he will literally just be so cold. And like, I wrote an article for the Washington Post about just dating differences, right? For instance, here, a man will like talk to you before you hook up, talk to you, you know, after you hook up, maybe have breakfast with you, maybe continue seeing you and never talk to you again. But they're not just like, as soon as you're done, they tie the condom in a knot, throw it in the trash, and then walk out the door and block you forever. The way, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so cold. And yet that rigidity and that like purity culture kind of extremes of like, you're, you know, big old slut, or you're like wifey material. On some level, it is kind of liberating because you know where you stand. We're here. You could have the most romantic guy, you know, just all this stuff. I had a friend that some guy, he was helping her with her French homework, you know, helped her get a bike, all that stuff. And then once they hooked up, then he never talked to her again, right? Like the seduction, the like, oh, oh, we hook up and then you actually like want to have breakfast with me and then never talk to me again, right? Like, it's very confusing. So a lot of American women come here and are like, wow, he's so romantic. Oh, and he's so sensual. And he like talks to me and he like is interested in my thoughts. And I'm not just a hole with legs, right? And a lot of women think that, or any attention at all, or any of this like, this stuff that we're desperate for, right? The men over here will give it to you. And women think that that's special. But they don't realize that these men are hobos, okay? They can literally, even if they come from money, it's a mindset. Hobosexual is a mindset of entitlement, which comes out as laziness. All right. And the no ambition. Why would they have ambition when you have so much? Because in the US, there's no sense of security whatsoever. You could be fucked any day. You go into work one day, you're fired. You go into work here, they got to take you to court to fire you if you have a CDI, which is what you need. Which is basically like tenure. Once you have that golden ticket, they can't get rid of you. Even if you suck, they can't get rid of you. Or it's hard to. It's expensive to get rid of you. Where in the US, you have no security whatsoever. So we are a hustle culture. We're always, all right, I got this. I got like 5 backup plans because at any moment, if I get in a car accident, if I fall while I'm skiing, you know, when I worked at Jackson, fell one day and boom, $25,000 surgery that takes me 10 years to pay off. Even though I had insurance, they're like, no, we're not going to pay, right? We are such a culture of insecurity and fear. Right? So we have that problem-solving entrepreneur like mindset of like, I'm going to do. And that's our problem. We don't know how to rest. When you come here and it seems, oh my God, look, they love vacation. They know how to like enjoy profiter, right? It's a little much though when you realize that some of these dudes just love being on chômage and love not working and love just letting you do everything. That's totally fine for them. And if you make good money, good luck. Do not get pregnant. Do not have these men's children, or you are a hostage. So if you come over to Europe, go for you. Don't come looking for a man. Definitely don't move for a man. For anyone wondering, I did not move here. I moved here for me. Started my life here for me. Built a community of friends and my life here alone as I was planning. So married or not, I'm staying. The reason why I throw that in is because so many women tend to like romanticize any women who are married to men in these countries. Like, oh, look, she found a good, and then they justify like dating these men and then moving here for, this fairy tale crap. Don't, okay, sorry. Hold on. Okay. What? And what's even worse is that there's a lot of women who are like, oh my God, follow me and my husbands. We take our children to the da. And they are romanticizing this idea of international couples. Now, it can be very interesting. It can be fun. It can be all those things. But I'm telling you, a lot of these women that their whole account is like, me and my life in France with my French. Don't believe them. And actually, G's the first person who made me realize that a lot of these accounts, it's women who are like, they know they're stuck here. And so they kind of double down and being like, well, if I'm here, I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm going to make money off of an account that like romanticizing my amazing life. And then these same women will be on the married to a French man accounts and being like, if I have to spend one more Sunday at my in-laws for a 4-hour lunch, like I never thought I'd spend so much time with family. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that it's all bad. I am just saying, for instance, okay? And again, I came here for me. I was taking French classes for me. I did everything. I was building my whole life doing all this stuff alone. I've been like alone most of my life doing my thing, right? But if I had to learn another language for a man, I would beat my head against a wall. I don't like to do anything for men, but to learn a language for a man, I had 2 classes this week. One is a group class, one's a private class. Hour and a half each. It's like, 35, 40 euros an hour. And then I have to ride my bike there, half hour, right? That is like 6 hours or 5 hours of my time, plus a ton of money per week to learn a language that if I didn't want to learn it on my own for me, I would be so resentful. Once you come here, and especially if you have their child, you're giving up your language, more or less. You're giving up your family, your community, your culture, your everything, right? And you are forever an outsider. And even when you do start to speak French really well, and you are still always going to be an outsider on some level, okay? You're like not one of them, They will be able to tell the moment you open your mouth, right? Actually, let me show you that what I entered into Google Translate as I was waiting for my baguette this morning, because there's a big old bitch at the boulangerie who makes fun of me every time I go there. And I say that I want my bread, not a baguette, actually it's a gros pain tranché, and she goes, and she makes me repeat it 3 times, and she goes, tranché, right? Like she does like exaggerated, like, I'm not gonna take your order unless you say it perfectly. And then she makes fun of me with all the people behind me every time I go, right? So today I was like, oh, that bitch is working again. Okay, right? I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to shame her. So I am trying my best here. I was like, how is this the best? It should be la, not ici. I was like, I'm going to say this in front of everybody. And also I'm going to say something about, do you speak another language? But I just wanted to know how to say this best. And I don't even know if that's the best way to say it, but I was I shut down and go into panic when I go into like deer in the headlights as soon as I get insecure about my friend. I'm all confident on here. I can speak in front of thousands of people on stage and hundreds of thousands on the internet without any fear, right? And then I go to the freaking bakery and I'm like, how do I say I want half a loaf cut, because I don't pronounce it perfectly. So I was like, oh, wait, how do I? So I'm like in a constant, like I feel like a child a lot of the times. My grown ass 47-year-old, and I'm like a little kid, because like language, like when I don't, anything sends me into like this insecure language thing. Took a practice test for my nationality day in my French class, and I froze because I was like, wait, I don't know that one word. So then I stopped listening to everything and I failed the test, right? I'm just telling you, if you move to another country for a man, that is a resentment waiting to happen, baby. Please move for you and only move to a country you really want to be in if you move for him. And don't have his babies. Or maybe time it so you have him back home and then you come to France or wherever. You gotta think about this stuff. But when it comes to salaries, income, money, I cannot tell you, if you're from the United States or any country where you have a very high income, you better watch out for some of these European men. And it doesn't literally, sometimes the more privileged they are, the worse. Because that entitlement is right? And they see you as the breadwinner forever. And they may show you all kinds of attention and affection and be sensual. And boy, they can oftentimes eat the kitty cat really well, which that'll climatize you, right? Don't be fooled. Protect your money. Protect your womb. And also know that if your entire immigration status is tied up to this person, they already have so much power over you. At least until you get that 10-year card. I have separate accounts that are mine. I have my 10-year card. The thing is, and this is why I'm so against anything where women put who put their livelihoods and their futures and their safeties in the hands of just love and trusting men. Do not ever set yourself up so that if he screws you over in every possible way, you're still going to be okay. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best, I guess. But if you don't have a 10-year card, then you kind of have to make that marriage work, especially if you like it here and you don't want to, there's other ways you could switch your visa to something else. But the amount of paperwork, the amount of language, the language lessons, constant language, feeling like an outsider, having to eat endless amounts of shit. Because even when you can speak well, you don't know how to you don't know how to talk back in a way. You don't know how to outsmart. Man, my words are my weapon, and I talk like a toddler. So I'm I'm disarmed entirely. I just have to just sit there and take it when somebody's like, and I'm just like, it's like I'm being forced into my childhood all over again. You are always going to have to work hard to be in another country. And being an immigrant is a lot of work. It's a lot of unpaid labor just trying to exist in a place, which is why I find it fascinating that people are so angry against immigrants. Immigrants, and especially the less privilege they have, have more courage and will and drive than the average person. Because to be in a new country and exist there and survive there is so hard, especially the least privileged immigrants. People are like, get them out of here. Yeah. Most people in the U.S. could never work as hard as most of the immigrants to the U.S. that they're kicking out right now. I'm just telling you, so many women are have this dream, especially France, okay? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about the United States, but we have this France. We're just worship it in this way and have this, don't believe the fairy tales, okay? I love it. I love my life here. There's a lot of stuff I don't like, and I just have to adapt to, right? That is normal. But let me just tell you, this is something like this is what you see on a regular basis. A lot of people think, if I get paxed, that's not as risky. Oh, honey, look at this. Pax is when you're basically married, but with it's easy to get out of. But you get the tax breaks and all that crap. But you don't get the wedding. You don't get the ring. You don't get most of the security that comes with it. You get tax right, whatever. You definitely don't get the same immigration status. It's way easier for me to get a 10-year card than someone with Pax. This, my partner, things are not going well. We set up our Pax agreement. There was a clause that stated if we were to separate that everything would be split 50-50. He had nothing when we entered our agreement. I bought the house and I have the savings. Have never denied him money. In fact, over 3 years, I've given him an excess of 30,000 euros. This is so crazy to me. There's gambling involved. Oh, great. She married a gambling addict on Shamash. I have 3 children from my first marriage. I want to know where I stand legally. Oh my God. You are screwed. You're so screwed. Your kids are screwed too. This hobo has access to half of your wealth. Women don't think like that when they come over here. I need you to understand when it comes to men, everything is a business agreement. And just to circle back before I stop to the money aspect again. So for instance, in the US, 66,000 is the average income. I don't know, but it varies by state. If you're coming from New York City, it's probably way higher than that, I'm guessing. In France, the average income is 39,800 euros. In Italy, in 2022, 21,000. That's 1,700 euros a month. In 2023, it was 27,000 euros a year, but that's gross. So I just wanted to throw some numbers in there. Okay, I've been an artist for a really long time, so I've never really had a high wage, honestly. Like, what, 2009, I made, 19, I made like under 10,000, okay? I know how to like live off of almost nothing. Living in the wilderness for so long taught me how to even live in cities off of like nothing. That and being raised by a single mom. So luckily, I was not targeted as being. I dress nicer now, but I even dressed like crap when I moved here, and I didn't realize what a blessing that was to not have men being like, "Oh, you're American, huh?" Because I definitely didn't dress like somebody who made money or respected herself, and a big old tomboy slob. And when I look back, I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of glad I have better style now or care more now, but I'm kind of glad that it didn't look like bougie when I moved here, because I didn't realize that that's a target on your head. Anyway, never move for men, okay? Every once in a while, it works out for someone. I know exceptions to the rules, but please do not assume you are an exception to the rule. Please assume that there's a rule for a reason, and set your life up as if there is no exception. Protect all these things. Please don't get pregnant by these men. And move for you. Move for you, or don't move at all. Because hinging your life on a man wanting to continue to fork you, and like not abuse you is the house almost always wins. Okay, the odds are not in your favor. And if they have any privilege, like language privilege, them being on their home territory with language, the immigration, like they can hold anything over your head. And if you give them a baby, they have hit the jackpot. They are set for life. They will baby trap you. Don't let them do it. Don't assume because they come from Europe that they have money. They may be passport bros out in the global south or any of the countries that their nation colonized and continues to exploit and torture. But if you come from the United States, you should assume that they don't have money compared to you, unless you make like minimum wage or a little bit more. I wish I was exaggerating, y'all. They come from castles and still become hobos. Like, can't make this up, y'all. Anyway, please join my Patreon. That's what's paying my bills right now. And I have great lives, and I just have so much fun over there. So please join that. That's how you support my work. And if you can't afford a tier, there is a free tier just so you can keep up with my work, so you know what's happening. And I have a live on Thursday, March 20th with Jennifer Esposito on YouTube for everybody. That one's not on Patreon behind a paywall. And we're going to talk about her amazing movie, Fresh Killed. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Anybody else who has any information, and again, I'm not just saying moving to another country. I'm saying a lot of women get screwed even trying to move across the country or to another state, because there's all these laws, especially around children, where you will kind of be a hostage until that kid is grown. Okay? Be careful out there. These hobos and the baby trappers are everywhere. Let me know if you heard the comment song. European comment song. I was 40 here, right, and I moved here. Pretty photos when I first came here, thinking, wow, look at this life. Now, I'm not saying it's not great life, but just telling you, don't assume that these men don't want your money, because the hobos are everywhere. Like Papa Bougie says, the dust is global, they're everywhere. Looking for a paycheck and a mommy with benefits. Hobosexual edition. All these pretty pictures on Instagram. Don't fall for the fairy tale, because the hobos are everywhere. especially in Europe. These men will suck on your cooter and be like, mommy, fuck me. Hobosexual. Hobosexual. I'm sorry, these are random photos. It's pretty, it's super pretty, but wherever you go, there they are, the hobos. I mean, one of the dudes I dated lived with his grandma, but I didn't know that because I was like, oh, he's French. How cool. Pretty stuff. Don't be fooled. The hobos are everywhere undercover. Undercover. Don't fall for the fairy tale. American or European edition. European hobo song. Did you hear it? Et voila!